We're going to turn now to that computer hacker you discussed, the man who turned in Bradley Manning, the Army intelligence specialist. But when I spoke with Adrian Lamo earlier this morning, he told me he didn't think that Manning could have acted on his own.
I do not believe that Private Manning had the technical expertise necessary to communicate this amount of information to the outside world without being detected on his own. And I don't believe that he operated without guidance.
So it sounds like, bottom line, you agree with the statement the White House put out last night that this leak has harmed America's national security.
Almost inconceivable to me that this could not result in harm to both security and actual real-life people, because it's easy to hear national security and think of it as a jingoistic buzzword. But at the end of the day, it is about people, the lives of people.
And for more on this, we turn now to Eric Schmitt, one of the New York Times reporters who wrote the stories based on these 92,000 documents in the paper this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. You just heard Mr. Ramo there. You heard what the White House has had to say, saying that this leak could put the lives of Americans at risk and threaten our national security. Senator Kerry called the leak illegal. Did the Times ever consider not publishing?
George, no. We took great care when we first had access to these documents. We spent several weeks reviewing them, going over them very carefully. And as you look at the documents that the New York Times has posted online, we took great care to redact the names of many people who are on the ground in Afghanistan, who are potentially informants, who worked with the American government. We also removed sources and methods and other sensitive material that might have jeopardized operations on the ground. We worked very closely, in this case, with the White House, and in fact, the White House praised us for our efforts in due diligence in going through this.
And you
we also impressed upon the source, Julian Assange, the importance of doing the same. And Mr. Assange has said that he is withholding some 15,000 documents to go through the same type of redaction.
Your report reaches a pretty stark conclusion. You, quote, say that this ground-level picture of the war in Afghanistan is in many respects more grim than the official portrayal.
That's right. What this does is it gets right down to the soldier level in many ways. These are raw intelligence reports being filed by commanders on the ground, intelligence analysts, as events are breaking, whether they be firefights, drone attacks, secret commando operations. And what it does is I think it fills in a very detailed picture, more so than ever before, some of the events that are going on the ground. As you referred to in particular, with the incidents involving the Pakistani spy service, the ISI, reinforcing many of the suspicions that American policymakers and intelligence analysts have held for several years.
But one of the points the White House made in their document, in their release last night, is that this is not new information. It covers 2004 to 2009, that many of these problems were addressed after the president's revised strategy in sending more troops back in 2009. In your mind, what is the most striking new revelation in these documents?
I think the most striking revelation here is even more detail about the apparent complicity of the Pakistani spy service, the ISI, with militant groups, including the Afghan Taliban, that are coordinating attacks inside of Afghanistan against American and coalition forces. While we and others have reported on this and the broad themes over the past couple of years, the reports are voluminous. Even if you toss out ones that are perhaps disinformation or the bias of the Afghan intelligence service, they are generally consistent with other classified reporting by American intelligence analysts that the ISI does still have connections with many of these groups that are conducting attacks in Afghanistan.
We only have a few seconds left, but you also report on the idea that the Taliban had obtained these heat-seeking, shoulder-fired missiles, which had not been revealed by American officials before. And you talk about one strike, in particular against a Chinook helicopter. Were you able to confirm that strike?
This is something, again, we're focusing on. Many of these reports are not verifiable. That one we're watching, because of the smoke trail, there was certain evidence that did appear that these were stingers. There were a small number of these reports, but again, for the first time, they do appear to be credible, George.
Okay, Eric Schmitt, thanks very much.